there, Deidre here from our Upcycled Life, and I do lots of thrifting, upcycling, repurposing, and DIY content. Glad that you're here. A couple weeks ago, I did a video on packing tape transfer, and you guys loved it. And I have a few more things that I'm going to show you today that you can do this technique with that you probably haven't thought of. So this is a little bit of a follow-up video to that last one. If you haven't seen it, I'll put the link down below in the description, and you can check it out after you watch this video, because it's a fantastic technique that you can add to your DIY projects, scrapbooking, mixed media, junk journaling. So let's get started with the packing tape transfer. All you're going to need to do this transfer technique is a dish of warm water, some packing tape, and something to do your transfer with. This is a fantastic transfer. If you can find old comic books. I found this one at the thrift store. I think it was like 50 cents, and it transfers beautifully. The old comic books are always so vibrant and so colorful that when you do a transfer and you add them to your projects, it really makes them pop. You're just going to apply your packing tape to the area you want to transfer, and then take a credit card and really push that tape in really hard, trim off the edges, and then you're going to soak it in that warm water. The length of time that you let your paper soak in the water will be determined by how thick your paper is. This isn't a really thick piece of paper, so I only let it soak for about 30 seconds. I also didn't want to waste any of this comic book page, so I applied 3 pieces of tape along that page so we could get 3 different image transfers. And you're just going to rub away all of that top layer of paper, and as you do, you're going to see that comic strip underneath appear, and you're going to have a translucent transfer of that comic book page. Now there's a lot of ink in a comic book transfer, so you're not going to be able to see through as much as you would as an other transfer, but it's still really cool. You can apply it to something with a glue stick or some Mod Podge and use it as a sticker if you wanted to. So many possibilities. Now, if you have a page of a book or a comic book and you like the image on both sides, I'm going to show you how you can do 2 transfers out of one page. Take your packing tape and push it right into your image really hard. Use a credit card, get all the wrinkles out, and then just really slowly, and being really careful, we don't want to rip this page, pull off that packing tape. And as you do, you're removing that layer of that image that you want to save on the one side. I'm going to trim it up and then put it in the water and soak it for a little bit just to take off that little bit of paper that was on the back. This isn't as vibrant as doing it the other way, but it's definitely a way to save that one image on the one side. Now I've flipped over the page and I want to grab the image off the other side, Josie and the Pussycats. I'm going to apply the packing tape, make sure I've gotten all the wrinkles out and push it in really hard. Same process. Going to trim it off, put it in the water, let it soak, and then we're going to rub off the paper on the back, and we're going to be left with a really cool image transfer. And there's some image transfers from my Archie comic book that I love. I put it on a piece of tissue paper so you can see what it looks like on top of something. This is the one that we peeled off, and you can see that it just didn't transfer quite as well. Something else that you can use to do packing tape transfers are old sewing patterns. These are fantastic, and you have your instruction manuals, you have your actual pattern piece, and you have the envelope that it comes from that you can do transfers with all 3 of those things. One of the questions that I got asked lots on the last video was, I really love that graphic transfer, I just wish it wasn't so shiny. I have mastered a technique to get rid of that shine after we finish this transfer method. So make sure you stick through to the end so you can see how I do it, because if you don't like that glossy finish, we can fix that. I'm just working away doing some transfers with the pattern, the instruction manual, and I'm also going to do the envelope too and show you how it all turns out in the end, because I keep thinking of how I can incorporate this all into my junk journaling, and I'm so excited to get some pages done. And this is a part of the patterns that I love to use is the envelope. I am going to do a transfer with this beautiful woman on the front in her gorgeous dress. And same thing, apply the packing tape, make sure that we really press that tape in really well, cut the image out and let it soak in that warm water. This is a little bit of a thicker paper, so I'm gonna leave it in for a minute and a half. And then just start to rub the paper off the back. And as you do, you're gonna see the image is gonna stay on the tape and all the paper is gonna come off. If you find you're having a hard time rubbing all that paper off, you can put it back into the water, let it soak again for a minute, and then go back at it and keep rubbing. It does take a little bit of patience and a little bit of time, but this is the end result. And we have a see-through transfer that you can lay on top of any sort of paper for your mixed media, your junk journaling, or any DIY project. Another thing that you can transfer is books. My last video, I did a book out of a novel. I found this children's book. It was in bad shape. It had been scribbled on. I think it was missing a few pages. Now I'm going to show you how you can make a larger transfer. Take 2 pieces of tape and overlap it. Make sure you overlap it enough that it's going to really stick on that other piece of tape, and then really press it together. Cut out your image, and the same, you're going to soak it in that warm water, but the 2 pieces of tape are going to stay together and create one image. So you can do bigger images with packing tape by just layering those pieces over one another. The tape is quite thin, so it really blends in and you don't see the seam very much at all when you're all finished. So as you can see, you're not limited to only using one piece of packing tape or using smaller images to transfer. You can put 2, 3, 4 pieces of packing tape together and do one image. I'm happy with the way that this turned out, and when you put it down on the white paper, you can see the beautiful transfer that we got. Here's a little packing tape tip. Put a bread tie on the end, and then you'll never have to pick at your tape and try to peel it off that roll again. It works great. Now I want to show you how you can dull down that shiny finish on your packing tape. This was a transfer I did with 2 pieces of tape out of the comic book. And what you need is some Scotch pad. I'll put a link down below in the description so you can grab some if you want to try this out. And you just rub over the top of that packing tape with this Scotch pad, and it dulls the finish, so it almost takes it down to a matte finish. I hope my camera will be able to pick up the difference because it really worked fantastic. We don't have that glossy finish. So you can see the glossy on the one on the right and the one on the left, how I was able to matte it down. So all you people that didn't like the glossy finish, give this a try. I hope you enjoyed today's video with another bunch of packing tape transfer ideas. Like I said before, if you haven't seen the first video, I'll put the link down below in the description and you can watch it next. And if you enjoy this type of content, I'd love for you to like, subscribe, and follow along so you don't miss any great DIY content. Thanks for watching. And if you love this video, I'm sure you'll love either of these too. Happy crafting and take care.